What a drunk man taught me about sales. Hey, it's Heather Chauvin, wife, mother of 3 boys, former social worker, dreamer, recovering rescuer, stage 4 cancer survivor. I started my motherhood journey when I was 18. I was single and living off government assistance. Beyond all of these titles and labels, I'm a human being, just like you, attempting to navigate it all while feeling good. My goal on this podcast is to show you that you can live an energized, sustainable life, both at home and in your work. On this show, I attempt to keep it real with stories, interviews, and random thoughts. This is not a business or career podcast, and it's not a parenting podcast. It's both and so much more. You will laugh, you will cry, and maybe even get a little frustrated with the truth you've been hiding from yourself. I believe all human behavior is a language, whether it's through your child's behavior, your health, or a relationship. And when we learn to listen instead of react, we begin to understand what it truly means to feel alive and in control. If you haven't already, go grab a copy of my book, Dying to Be a Good Mother. You can purchase it wherever books are sold online. And if you're interested in how to integrate this work into your life and get quicker results, you can learn more about my mastery and mastery business coaching experiences at heatherchauvin.com/work with me. Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/work with me. And you have a personal question or a topic you'd like me to answer on this podcast, then text me 313-710-5199. 313-710-5199. All right, let's change your life. Let's dig in. All right, ladies, I am back. So today, I may make it short and sweet. This is the second time trying to record this podcast. So I'm going to be my quirky self today and just bring all of me. I'm on my walk today, and I was going to do this in the studio, aka my car, but life isn't just happening, and life's not happening like that today. So you're going to get a walk and talk. Okay, so first, before I set up this podcast, I want to let you know that I hear from women a lot that they're not good at sales. Like, this is a true belief and a story that I hear women say, I'm just not good at sales. Sales is gross. Sales is sleazy. And then I tried to change the word sales. I was like, compassionate conversations. And I thought, no, sales is sales. There's 2 key components to every business, sales and marketing. Marketing is client attraction, right? How are you putting your brand values out there? How are you being known in the world? How are people finding you? What do you stand for? How are you a storyteller? And then when you have an offer or a product or service, right, you put that out into the world. It could be a physical product. It could be consultation. It could be anything. I mean, you could be picking up dog poop for all I care. It's a service. And then you transition the conversation into sales, right? So it's like, hey, here I am. Are you interested? Yes, I'm interested. The second someone says, yes, I'm interested, that could be a private message on social media. That could be an email reply. That could be a conversation that you're having with somebody while you're walking with them. There's so many opportunities for what they would call warm leads. But I think as women, we have so many blocks and so many stories. And yes, this is humans in general, but I just work with women, and I find that the stories and the blocks and the belief in the female brain versus the male brain is very, very different. And, we're so triggered by masculine definitions for things. And we've been so conditioned that if I want to succeed, I have to look or act like this person. And the truth is that you can create sex. Wow. Well, you can do that too. But you can create success on your own terms. And your success is not going to look like my success. And it's really, really important that you understand that how you market and how you do sales is on your own terms. So today I want to tell you a story that really impacted me. And my brain is always thinking in podcasts. My brain is always thinking in learning opportunities. It didn't always think this way, but that's just the byproduct of doing something over and over and over and over again. And I'm like into over 800 episodes now of podcasts. And this is just what happens when you practice a skill over and over and over again, that you get better at it, you get clarity. And it could just be for you, for content creation purposes. So in August, I was in Alaska. I went away with 3 other women. I think probably, I don't know how many podcasts ago, but I definitely talked about it. And I was on this amazing trip. It was a solo kayaking trip. We were in the water for like 6-7 days, camping off the grid, no access. We had our cell phones, but no service, no Wi-Fi, no nothing. And so completely off the grid. Had to make our own food, had to carry bear spray, had to, survive, make sure we're not going to die, ration our food, all of that fun stuff. It was really, really cool. It was an awesome experience. And my friend and colleague and coach that is in our mastery community, she invited me, and I'm so grateful that she did, because it scared the crap out of me, but I said yes to it. So I digress. One night when we got back, I treated myself to what I wanted, which was garlic bread. There was a pizza shop that was near our hotel, and it was a very busy hotel, very busy city. And there was, in Alaska, if you've ever been there, at night, depending on where you are, the vibe gets different, right? Just like in any town at night, you just got to watch what streets you walk down. So I'm at this pizza shop, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this crazy bread or this like garlic bread. I'm really craving it. And I go to order it, and they're like, yeah, it's going to be 15 minutes. But I could just tell they were really disorganized and overwhelmed. And I'm like, no big deal, right? I'm like, I got patience, whatever. I was just on the water for 7 days. I'll eat anything right now. And this man walks up, and he's drunk, and he's high, and he is big and saying wildly inappropriate things. So I could tell that everyone's getting really quiet around him. They're intimidated by him. They're kind of like annoyed by him, right? They're like, oh man, blah, blah, blah. So I could feel myself being a little defensive. I could feel myself protecting myself. My energy was off. My guard was up. I really didn't want anybody to I didn't want him to hurt me, right? So I was using my social work skills, and I was starting to really have that environmental situational awareness and what's going on and watching his behaviors. And I had a mask on. So I had a COVID mask on. So all he could see was my eyes. And I always like to make eye contact with people, because I think connection is better than being passive, and really just I see you. So I was kind of standing there. I was annoyed because now my 15 minutes was turning into 30 to 45 minutes. And it turned out to be almost like an hour just to wait for this garlic bread. And anyway, so I was standing around, this guy was lingering in and out, and someone was engaging with him, and you could tell that she was using some pretty amazing, not critical thinking. Essentially, you could tell that this was not the first time she's had a conversation with a drunk person in their pizza place. So everyone else was just kind of being a little dismissive towards him. So I made eye contact, and then he looked at me and he wanted to engage in a conversation with me. I was like, oh, here we go. So he starts to talk to me. And the first thing he says is, "You look angry." And I was triggered, but in a good way. Because I'm one of those people that really tries not to judge a book by its cover. This man, drunk, high, whatever he was, he's a human being, right? He just wants connection. He wants to be seen. He wants to be heard. He wants to be understood. And so when he said that to me, I knew why he said that. He was reading my energy, because my energy was very dismissive. It was like, I had my resting bitch face on. I was like, don't fuck with me. And I'm not that intimidating when I'm only 5 feet tall and this guy is bigger than me. And I thought, if I'm going to get out of this conversation and diffuse anything without being, I don't want to say dismissive or a bitch, because I'm totally allowed to be a bitch, but whatever. So I softened. And with my mask still on, I said to him, "Yeah, I'm really tired." So I called myself out. I said, "Oh man, I just don't have any energy to make facial expressions right now." So then I start opening up, right? I start to soften. I start to create connection. My intention with this man was always just to know that my guard can be up, but he can feel seen, he can feel heard, he can feel understood. And I remember in my social work days when I'd work with really, really vulnerable populations who were known for being disruptive, were known for being agitated, were known for being angry. I was like, well, if we don't trigger them and we create connection and we treat them like human, I guarantee you their behavior will change. And I would see it again and again and again in the children and the teens, and people would put them with me. And so this man started talking to me, and I thought, heck, I'm sitting here in Alaska waiting for my crazy bread or my garlic bread. I'm just going to have a conversation with him. So he starts talking to me, and I'm holding space. So I'm not really saying much. I'm engaging in very little conversation. And the conversation that I am engaging in is asking him questions, getting him to talk, getting him to engage and open. And so he started telling me why he's in Alaska, how he got to Alaska. And then he started telling me that, he doesn't want to be there forever. And then he started telling me about his family. And he asked me a question that really hit home. And he said, are your parents still alive? And I said, yes. And he looked at me and he said, cherish it, because once they're gone, you'll never realize how bad your mother meant to you, or how bad you wanted your mom, or how you're always a child, or something like that. And it kind of hit me, because that man gave me value. And what I started to notice was that this person that I was judging just by his behavior, right? Not even knowing why he drinks, not even knowing why he's high, but not judging him. And so we got into a conversation, and again, I wasn't saying that much. But what I noticed was at the end of the conversation, he said to me, "Thank you for not judging me." He literally said that. "Thank you for not judging me." And I looked at him and I said, "Thanks for having a conversation with me." He said, "You're a cool chick." And that was it. That was the conversation that we had. And I wanted to share this story because I hear so many people, especially women, that say, "I'm not good at sales." And the truth is, all we're doing in business, marketing is one skill, but when you're connecting with your audience, when you're connecting with your clients, all you are doing is holding space for human beings. That's it. You're simply just holding space for human beings. And I was so grateful to this man because he actually called me out on my shit. He knew I was judging him, but he also called me out on my energy at the beginning. He called me out on my energy. And this is what is so important when we are in those intimate conversations with a client or a potential client. Your job is to hold non-judgmental space, which is really difficult to do when you're chronically triggered by people's shit, when you still have things that you need to heal inside of yourself. So when people give you money objections and you have money wounds that need to heal, when people give you partner objections and you have relationship things that you need to heal, when people give you time objections and you have, time relationship things to heal. So here's my point. You have to pay attention to the stories that you're telling yourself of why you can't succeed in your business or why you can't get to the next level. And when you're having these conversations with people, remember, all humans want, all what you want and what I want is connection. We want to feel love. We want to feel connected. We want to feel valued. But more importantly, we want to be seen. We really want to be seen for who we are. We want to be heard. Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me about your parents. How did you get to Alaska? I heard him. So nice to meet you. Thank you so much for sharing your story with me today. I understood him, and he respected me. Now, I understand that this story could have went a completely opposite direction of the drunk high man that I met at the pizza place in Alaska. But the point is, if we have hope in humanity, change is possible. And maybe a drunk man is not your target market, or maybe it is. Maybe you own an alcohol distillery or something like that. But my point is, it doesn't matter who you're talking to. You have to learn how to deal with your own emotional triggers in every conversation that you have. Every time somebody triggers you emotionally, every single time someone says something and you're like, ooh, that didn't land right, or oh my gosh, now I want to react, I want to argue, I want to whatever. That's another opportunity for you to grow. So if you're finding in your business, when you start talking about money with people, or when people start giving you their objections and you're getting all tight and you feel yourself curling up into a little ball, it's time to invest in growth opportunities and challenge yourself. So my challenge for you today is to go find somebody that you want to work with, or call up a client or text somebody, or if you don't even have a business but you're listening to this, have an uncomfortable conversation with somebody. And specifically watch at the sentences, the words that they use, what exactly they say that triggers you. The things that you avoid, right? So every time somebody talks about money, do you avoid those conversations? Every time someone brings something up, do you avoid certain conversations? Because if you do, that is a growth opportunity. That's exactly what you need to heal. So when I started my business, I remember one of my early mentors, we talked about having sales conversations, and she gave us the script and she told us how to handle objections. And we do this as well inside of our Mastery business coaching program. And I remember saying to her, I'm going to have 100 of these conversations before I even try to sell anything. And she said, I think that's a fucking fabulous idea. And the reason why is because you can't just do something once and expect to be a master at it. Every skill takes practice. And every single time you talk to people, you get to learn more and more and more about yourself, but also more and more and more on how to hold space for other people, how to really listen, like actively listen to people and not just be so in your head scripted. All right. I want to know what you learned from my story about the drunk man in Alaska. So make sure to text me 313-710-5199 or send me a message on Instagram at Heather Chauvin. Well, that's it. And I wanted to thank you for listening today because I truly believe you are exactly where you need to be. And now I have a favor to ask. In exchange for the value you've gained from this free podcast, I'd be forever grateful if you would leave us a review on iTunes. Share the show with at least one woman in your life who you feel would benefit, and or take a screenshot and share it on social media. And always feel free to tag me at Heather Chauvin. The world does not benefit from your guilt and fatigue. The world needs more women who are willing to unlearn everything they've been taught. Women who are courageous enough to feel good and not let guilt run the show. I believe you are that courageous woman. To see if my community and coaching is the right fit for you and your big vision, the relationships you desire, the money, time, energy that you know deep down you are capable of creating, then head on over to heatherchauvin.com/work with me. That's Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/work with me. And take the next step in the right direction. Taking a stand for how you feel means you are taking a stand for how your children show up as adults. And if you have a personal question or topic you'd like me to answer on the podcast, text me 313-710-5199. 313-710-5199. You are so worthy of feeling good. Now go do some scary shit.